Something that we need to be aware of is that reasonable people with the same goal would actually approach a different task in a completely different way. And this very much depends on our personalities, our experiences, and really how we operate. And I can give you an example of two people. The first person we can call Fred. Fred is a very consistent person. He wants to start early. He wants to break down a given task into subtasks, and he wants to make sure that he completes part of the task on every single day. And this makes for a very consistent process to tackling a given objective and realizing the goal that this person has for himself or herself. So this is a very consistent approach. In an ideal world, everybody would start with the task early and complete it ahead of the deadline so that they have enough time to double check, triple check, seek some sort of external validation, etc. However, let's say this person is Fred. We may have another person who is Ted. And Ted is the typical person who really spends so much time on everything else but starting early. They may find themselves just ideating for many days without actually capitalizing on some of the ideas they have arrived to or pursuing any of those ideas. So very soon they realize that there's just a couple of days or even a day before the deadline. So they then get that sort of sudden burst of energy and focus that can help them to be highly productive within a different and very often limited time span. So they can complete the whole project with reasonable quality, but very nearby to the deadline. And in the end, we can assume that the results that the first person, Fred, and the second person, Ted, have are comparable in terms of quality. Yet the approach is completely different. So what would happen if we have one of these people to be dependent on the other person, and therefore they need to take the results and then they need to pass the results to the other person so that they can then consider them for their own bits of work they need to complete? It would be a nightmare, right? Especially if you have the person who does the work towards the end before the deadline to then deliver something to the person that wants to start as early as possible. And let's assume that everybody has just 1 week to make the job done, to do the job or to achieve the given task that they've been given by the manager. This may lead to a nightmare for both people because there will be kind of aggressive communication going around, perhaps in both directions, and this will be counterproductive to the tasks that they need to achieve. So how do we make sure that we're not in such situations? How do we make sure that we also respect for the different patterns of work that may emerge for different people and their expectations and for really the way they work? Well, the best way to do so is to document everything from the very beginning. We need to do the team charter. And as part of it, we need to specify the rules, the ground rules. How often should team members communicate with each other? How often should they pass some sort of results or knowledge or information that has been generated as part of the process so that it can be furthered by the other team member? So these things, they need to be specified from the very beginning and they need to be documented. All parties need to agree on that timeline that has been created. And these can serve as almost like checkpoints of progress for the whole duration that the project is going to be carried out through. So this is one of the ways to help you achieve consistent results. Perhaps not as early as Fred would have liked, but definitely not as late as Ted would have liked either. So this is a very nice way of moderating the group work process, the teamwork process, and accommodating for all individuals, for all parties, no matter what their working pattern and structure is. I hope you enjoyed this short video, and let's catch up in the next one.